Hello friends, and welcome to another edition of Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan. It was another great week to be a Bronco. Let's take a look at the action from last week. Men's hoops extended their win streak to a season-long tying 6 games with a pair of victories, beating Miami 72-68 on the road before trouncing Buffalo 71-60 at University Arena on Saturday. The streak is the longest since the Broncos won 6 straight conference games to start the 2004-05 season. Another bit of good news came the Broncos' way this past week when they found out they will host a televised bracket buster game against Pacific on February 23rd. Hockey split a pair of games with the Ferris State Bulldogs last weekend, downing their in-state rivals 3-1 on Friday before just narrowly falling in a shootout on Saturday. This primes the Broncos for a huge weekend series coming up against Miami, as WMU trails the Redhawks by just a single point in the CCHA standings. Gymnastics went head-to-head with some of the top programs in the country at West Virginia on Friday, taking third place in a field that included the number 2 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Caroline O'Brien took third individually on the uneven bars as the top finisher for the Broncos, and Shelby McDonald also placed in the top 10 with a 6th place finish in the same event. Women's hoops had a tough week, losing a pair of games, but held tight with the Toledo team on Sunday that entered the contest 18-2 and ranked 6th in the collegeinsider.com mid-major top 25 poll. Miracle Woods scored a career-high 16 points and grabbed 6 rebounds, but the Broncos ultimately fell 65-54. And the track and field team showed off on the second day of the Mayo Invitational hosted by Notre Dame as the 4x400 meter relay team notched their fastest time of the season, crushing their previous PR by nearly 3 full seconds. Rebecca Hall, Iris Campbell, Andrea Arnold, and Lindsay Huffnagel combined for a time of 3:42.53, made all the more impressive by the fact that Campbell had less than an hour of recovery time from her 400 meter dash earlier in the day. Huffnagel also ran the anchor leg for the Broncos, the first time this season she's done that. And let's take a look at the highlights from this past weekend. Women's basketball taking on the Ball State Cardinals on Wednesday. It would be tough sledding for the Broncos as the offensive attack of the Cardinals really put a number on them. That said, the Broncos did get some significant contributions from Markeisha Harris. There she is with the layup in the post. She would finish the game with 9 points. A.J. Johnson would finish with 5. There she is with the jump step in the lane. And a little bit later, Johnson gonna step out, drill the three-pointer from the corner. The Broncos, however, would lose to the Ball State Cardinals by a final score of 73-50. On to men's basketball now. The Broncos hosting the Buffalo Bulls. Western Michigan looking for their 6th straight victory. Shane Whittington had 23 points in this game. He was in a battle with one of the best big men in the MAC in Javon McCray. There's David Brown. He came off the bench for 13 points. Connor Tavey in the paint. He would have a great game for the Broncos. The post players doing a fantastic job as Tavey finds Loney in the lane. Western Michigan would beat Buffalo by a score of 71-60. Whittington with a double-double, 23 points, 14 rebounds. The Broncos have won 6 straight.
Well, the Bronco softball team will open up their 2013 slate this weekend when they travel to Arizona State with 6 games in 4 days, and we are joined by a sophomore on the Bronco softball team, Becca Shemberger. Becca, sophomore pitcher now. You're obviously trying to fill that void left by Meredith Whitney, who is a tremendous strikeout pitcher. What kind of pitcher are you?
I'm more of a power pitcher. I throw hard and try to get my teammates ground balls. I'm not as much as a strikeout pitcher as Meredith. I like to trust my defense and get them some grounders and let them play defense behind me.
Are you intimidating in the circle?
I think so. I throw hard and I'm tall, so by the time I'm done with my stride, I'm pretty close to the batter, so that's a little bit intimidating, I guess.
What is your best pitch?
Drop ball is my best pitch.
Does that intimidate the batter?
I think so. It goes down a lot, so they think it's coming in right in the strike zone, and it drops a lot, and I throw pretty hard, so I'd say that's my best pitch.
Well, you're obviously in a rotation now with you have Allison Cuss, that's pitching well, and you have Mackenzie Sheepek, and you're all kind of jostling for position.
Right.
What is it like being in a staff where everybody's pushing each other towards the team goals of victories, but you all want to take the ball in big situations?
Right. I mean, it's awesome because Mackenzie and Allison are both really talented, good pitchers. So we try to push each other a lot. They push me to be better, and I pitch my best, and I try to push them and to make them pitch better. And it is competition, but in the end, we just want to see each other do well and know that we can all come in a game in any given situation.
Okay, you mentioned your drop ball, and you think that's your best pitch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of fans may not know the nuances of softball compared to baseball. So talking about the drop ball, what kind of movement does that ball give? And maybe talk about some other pitches, like a rise ball is something you don't see when you're throwing overhand.
A drop ball, it'll start like in the middle of the plate and drop right off, like right at the end, right when it looks good to the batter. And you can make it do different things, like go inside on batters, or it can like get a little drop curve so it's off the plate a little bit. And the rise ball, same thing. You can make it go up inside or up outside, and it's a last-second break, so the batter thinks it looks really good. And at the last second, it takes that jump. So.
Now, you told me before we started the interview today that you've been playing Travel League softball since, 8 years old?
Yeah.
When did you realize you could play Division I softball? You could be a Bronco?
I've always wanted to be Bronco. I've lived in Portage, so it was always like on my mind that I wanted to come here, but I started playing really high-profile travel ball when I was like 14U. So I started traveling all over the country basically and playing in different tournaments against some really good teams and seeing a lot of scouts, and that's kind of when I knew that I could play with all those girls in a D1 level.
When you guys are practicing and you're pitching against your teammates, who's the toughest batter to get out?
There's a couple. I think that Alicia Handshoe is really hard to get out. She's a really, really tough batter. Same with Mackenzie Sheepek, one of the other pitchers. She's a really good power hitter, so she's hard to throw too. And Melissa Palmer, the new freshman, she's a really, really good slapper. And it's hard to know where to pitch her because she likes all pitches. So
I was going to ask you, when you're in a game situation, like when you take Oregon on this weekend, what scares you more, the power hitter or the slapper, somebody that gets on base? What frustrates you more?
I think the slappers, because they are very, very selective. They're trying to draw the walk, where the power hitter wants just to hit. So they're going to be a lot more aggressive and swing a lot more. And the slappers are the ones that are fast and they like to run around the bases. So they're really selective with their pitches, and they're all very good at seeing if it's a ball or a strike. So I would say the slappers annoy me more than the power hitters.
What is more fun for you in the circle? When the batter knows what pitch is coming, and you know the batter knows what pitch is coming, and they swing through it, or when you completely fool the batter and they had no clue what was coming?
Right. I like both. I think it's pretty cool when they know what's coming and I still throw it and I strike them out, because I know that that pitch is really working and that I'm really on my game that day. So that's a really good feeling. But fooling them is pretty cool too. I don't mind them making them look foolish, with a changeup or something and getting that half swing. I like that a lot too. So.
Becca, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right, fans, we have just about everybody in action this weekend. Let's take a look at what I will be watching for from Bronco Sports. Softball opens its 2013 season in warmer climes when they travel to Tempe, Arizona to participate in the Kajikawa Classic. The Broncos will face 6 teams over 4 days, opening the season against number 6 Oregon on Thursday and also facing the number 4 Arizona State Sun Devils on Saturday. Men's basketball will look to extend their win streak in conference play when they host the Kent State Golden Flashes on Wednesday and travel to take on the Ball State Cardinals on Saturday. Tip-off scheduled for 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. It's our blackout game at University Arena, so if you're coming to the game, make sure you wear black. And 6 p.m. on Saturday, that game at Ball State will be televised on Sportstime Ohio. Women's basketball continues a 2-game road swing when they face the Kent State Golden Flashes themselves. That game on Thursday night at the Mack Center before returning home to host the Bowling Green State Falcons on Sunday at University Arena. Tip-off scheduled for 7 p.m. on Thursday and 2 p.m. on Sunday. Robin Hook, the voice of the Broncos, will have the call at Kent. Hockey faces an enormous weekend series when they host the Miami Redhawks at Lawson Ice Arena this weekend. The puck drops at 7:05 on both nights. The Redhawks, first place in the CCHA, just 1 point ahead of the Broncos. Needless to say, big games. Both will be on Bronco Insider. Men's tennis will host 3 matches at West Hills Athletic Club this weekend, starting with a doubleheader against Aquinas and Cleveland State on Friday and a dual match with Illinois State on Sunday. Live stats will be provided for all 3 matches. Check them out on WMUBroncos.com. Women's tennis also in action this weekend, albeit on the road. They will face Marquette and Iowa State in a pair of matches played in Ames, Iowa. Check back on WMUBroncos.com for results from those matches when they're available. Finally, track and field will be in action this weekend, splitting the squad to a pair of meets. Some of the team will be heading to the Spire Invitational hosted at the Spire Center in Geneva, Ohio, while others will travel to Grand Rapids to participate in the Grand Valley State Invitational. And that's going to do it for us this week on Bronco Sports Weekly. Join us again next week. Same Bronco time, same Bronco place.